Welcome to the podcast of MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine. MotorWeek is made possible by TireRack.com and RockAuto.com. Here's your MotorWeek podcast host, Brian Robinson.
Hello and welcome to MotorWeek Podcast. This is number 226. Joining me this week is Over the Edge reporter Greg Carlos.
Hello.
Road Test producer Kyle Scanlon.
Hello.
And FYI reporter Stephanie Hart.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome, and thanks for tuning in. We're going to look at a couple of road test cars we've driven lately, as well as some special stuff from Stephanie. So we'll jump right in with the road test cars. How about the 2019? It seems old, but it's such a special car. We're just now getting to it. Subaru WRX STI S209. We just had that down at our track in Roebling. What's new about the 209, and what did we think about it?
Well, it's the most powerful STI ever, 341 horsepower coming out of the same 2.5-liter turbo 4 still a boxer engine, naturally all-wheel drive, 6-speed manual transmission. This one is a little bit tighter ratioed, which I found a little bit rough to get in and out of gear, especially when driving around. Actually, on the track, it was fine, which is probably the way it's supposed to be, but driving around town, which most people will be doing, it was a little clunky. A little bit wider tracks front and rear, and S209 badging all over the place, and a nifty little intercooler spray system, which apparently gives you like 2 or 5 extra horsepower. If you pull a little paddle on the wheel, it'll spray some coolant into the intercooler, and I think it's more of that's
more flash than
exactly. It's hard to say if it actually gained anything, but you could do it if you wanted to.
Yep.
Cool factor.
Yeah,
absolutely. Something to talk about at the car show.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
Yeah. Or the Wawa or wherever you're hanging out.
The McDonald's parking lot.
I mean, we've had a seemingly endless cycle of Subarus we can't get, then we can get, then we can't get. And this one is special because not only is it the highest performing STI ever, but it's only here for us in the U.S. They're only making 209 of them, so you got to get it here.
Take that, rest of the world.
Yeah, for sure. And
it
had more.
Get our own.
Yeah, it had more power, which is great. Usually, like sometimes with the STIs, they don't add any more power, just handling stuff. And I thought it made a huge difference. It wasn't that much more, but it was all mid-range from the turbo tweak. And at Roebling, it really felt strong coming out of corners. And I think every STI we've ever driven down there, I've always wanted more power, and I was fully expecting that to happen. But it felt plenty adequate around that track, I felt. And except, going down the long straight, maybe had a little downtime, but yeah, I thought it pulled strong out of corners.
I agree. They do pull strong out of corners, all those WRXs, STIs. It's still a momentum car on that track, but in a good way. I'd probably drove it more than anybody. And once you really get an idea of like gearing, which was really simple. I mean, it was basically a 4th and 5th gear car the whole way around this track. So really simple. But yeah, you basically just throw this thing in the corners and the all-wheel drive will pull you out. And like I said, after maybe my 10th or 15th lap, I was just having a blast, just throwing it around and driving pretty much to the best of my abilities, which is something I don't always get to do in these high-performance cars.
Honestly, I was a little underwhelmed by it. I thought it was going to, most horsepower, all that kind of stuff. I was expecting it to be a bit quicker. I was doing some quarter-mile testing on it, and trying to get that thing to jump off the line was really difficult.
Yeah. STIs are notoriously bad straight line cars.
Gonna have to slip them off the line.
Yeah. It was, had to do some retakes for shooting, couldn't get in this car off the line because the thing would just start bucking on you, and it did not seem happy trying
It's called character.
It's called character, yes.
Clutch
character.
Didn't have a lot of feel. That was...
It was super high take-up, so it was a little hard to get a feel for.
And also, I had the pleasure of myself and Dave Scrivener drove this back from Roebling. So we had a 9-hour drive in this car coming back, and it is not a car for that. The seats are super uncomfortable when you end up sitting there for that long, and
it drones,
and also, we were driving it on tires that we had virtually destroyed at the track the entire way back.
But to be fair, I thought from the sound of the rough pavement on the tire, like I thought we were going to rip through those tires quickly, but they held up the whole week
for sure.
Yeah, they held up okay. It was a little nerve-wracking when the rain started coming down, and I remember looking and seeing how much tread was actually left on them, and it was like, okay, we're going to see how this goes until the rain stops, and I'm still here, so it did all right. But yeah, I mean, I was hoping to be a lot happier with the car, and unfortunately I wasn't.
It's definitely not a street car. It's definitely a track-focused car. I know you didn't get a chance to drive it, Stephanie, but did you have any?
Yeah, I didn't drive it. I want to drive it. I heard the buzz that it was tons of fun, so I'd like to get behind the wheel at some point. I heard it had great acceleration. The downside, I heard it was a little noisy. And then some say it was like too firm.
It was very firm.
So that's sort of what I read. And I actually wanted to ask you guys, how was the tech? Because I heard the tech is pretty good. No? Okay.
Where's that from?
Let's move on.
All right. So that's negative. No,
I mean,
on that.
the Subaru system's gotten better. Is that what you mean, just like the tech in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's fine.
it's okay.
It's more high tech, but you didn't necessarily like it.
Didn't blow
Okay.
you away.
It's okay.
I mean, we're talking about a really old design at this point, so they don't put a whole lot of. I mean, they did upgrade the infotainment recently,
Okay.
but it's still not great comparatively.
And this
Okay.
is still the old Impreza chassis, not the current, which has been out for a couple of years now. So there is a lot of tech in the mechanical way, like you can adjust the all-wheel drive bias. Did you play with that on the track at all?
I did a little bit. Yeah, it seemed like it actually had an effect, and it actually. I thought when getting on the throttle, I did get a little bit of that understeer you get with all-wheel drive cars, but the opposite. They would actually rotate really nicely if I had it dialed in just right.
Very good. All right, moving on. This one, another special vehicle, a little different take on the theme. 2020 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro Crew Max. Tundra is, of course, full-size Tundra, full-size pickup from Toyota. TRD Pro is 2 inches of suspension lift and wheels and tires, et cetera, et cetera. And Crew Max is the mega cab version of the Tundra. Anybody have any comments on that one?
I really enjoyed it. I got to drive it home and even do a little bit of work around my property with it. And the thing was really nice. One thing that surprised me was how light the steering was for a full-size truck like that. And I know steering is getting lighter in a lot of the larger trucks that are coming out in full-size trucks, but this thing, you could literally almost place the tip of your finger on the wheel and you could do a 3-point turn with just that amount of pressure.
I think there's still hydraulic power steering, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they ever switched over to electric.
Yeah. But that I liked about it. It kind of made you feel like you were not necessarily in a truck. I mean, I always say this. I drive a truck all the time. That's my daily driver. But this was a really nice one. The room in the back had plenty of room for your passengers, and it came in this awesome, kind of forest green color, the one that we got. I don't know exactly what the name of that green is.
They called it Army Green or
Army Green.
military green.
I thought it was awesome.
Yeah,
I loved
good
it.
looking. Good
yeah,
looking,
it looked
I
really
thought.
good, and with
Black
the wheel and
Yeah,
tire
that's
package,
sweet.
it was. It's a really aggressive looking truck for something that you can just drive off the lot.
It was loud and it sounded like great at startup, but I don't know. It didn't sound great to me when I was actually driving it, especially when you're low throttle situations. It just sounded, a weird droney sound that just wasn't, to me, wasn't
like a
good.
little whine to it.
Almost like if you're familiar with the GMs, when you go into V4 mode and it's got a loud exhaust, it sounds really bad. This one kind of sounded like that all the time to me, but I don't know. Some other people didn't share that opinion. I don't know. Greg?
I actually did not share that opinion. I did think it sounded pretty good, but I wasn't really listening to it as closely as you were, apparently. We were just talking about how we see so many Tundras on the street now, but you said their sales aren't that high, which is kind of weird. It doesn't make sense when you
seem
see
to be
that
everywhere.
many.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I guess because they stand out. I mean, how many F-150s do you see in that same time frame?
True.
I guess
Yeah.
that you
At
don't
least 3
pay any
times as
attention
many.
to.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, at this price and considering what other people are paying for pickup trucks, I mean, I have to imagine the Tundras that are sold are probably a good deal of them would be in this trim. I mean, it's a truck, so it's cool looking.
Yeah,
And they
and for
started
49.
They started 35 for
Just a regular one.
a regular double cab or whatever it's called, and some updates for 20, pretty minimal. It's got a new infotainment, and they dropped the 4.6 liter engine. Can't get that anymore. Anybody else have any other?
A lot of
comments?
storage, big back seat. I heard the buzz that interior was just okay.
The seats could have been a little more
Looks-wise,
comfortable.
yeah, more comfortable.
Yeah, there's a lot of hard plastic in there.
Yeah.
And gas-wise, yeah.
I mean, you're looking at a 5.7 V8, so you're going to be getting lower gas mileage if you opt for something with that size.
But yeah, pretty affordable.
It did look tough for sure.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
great.
it looks great.
All right, moving on. Stephanie, what have you been doing lately in the FYI world?
Well, my FYI on Overlanding just aired, and that was so much fun to film. We went out to Bend, Oregon, and we hooked up with Earth Cruiser, and we went on an overlanding adventure, which I had never done anything like that before.
So overlanding is just like rich people camping? Is that?
No, that's glamping.
That's it.
This was-
Overlanding is like
RVing.
buying as much stuff as possible to go camping?
Well, good question. No, overlanding is actually a cross between RVing and camping. So if you guys are...
Well, you're talking to Brian Robinson, whose idea of camping on his way to Sturgis was literally just sleeping next to his bike, no tent or anything.
So, Brian, this would be glamping for you.
Okay, all right. I'm down.
But for most of the world, it's called overlanding now.
All right. I hear that term a lot, and it always seems associated with buying lots of stuff.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
The segment, I saw the segment and I was like, it looks like, and I think it's cool, but it's almost like there's nature. Let's run over nature to get up there where nobody else is.
We did not run over nature. Trust me. No, we took trails.
Yeah.
We took trails, rocky, dirt trails. We actually didn't see a lot of wildlife, but there was still snow on the ground.
Might have scared it away.
Yeah, maybe. Possibly. Yeah, those Earth Cruisers are no joke, really.
Yeah, I know. I saw the segment as well, and I thought it looked really good. And I saw the larger vehicle. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was the one that cost upwards of $200,000.
Right, $285,000. So
way
that's
above.
the EXP.
Yeah.
So that's the fancier one, and there's basically everything in there: a shower, a working faucet, a refrigerator, a bathroom. So it's pretty cool. A bed in there, TVs if you want.
To me, it almost looked like it was almost something out of Mad Max because they got the front, the flat front cab going on, and then they get these big old knobby wheels, and just the whole living space in the back, and it's a cool looking piece of equipment, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you guys are familiar with the company, it started in Australia in 2008 and then moved to the United States in 2013, just when all of this overlanding was becoming big. And the whole idea behind overlanding is that people, camping and RVing has become so popular recently that everyone is just crowding these campsites. So no one really now wants to sleep by a generator or be crowded and try to enjoy nature. So this Earth Cruiser will let you go out in the middle of nowhere where other vehicles can't go and enjoy the peace and tranquility of nature.
And still have creature comforts that are there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe I missed it, but weren't there like different levels? One of them was just basically like a pickup truck with a cab on the
Right.
back.
That was the mod camper, which is more basic. Yeah. And a little more affordable for
I
everyone.
mean, that definitely seems like more of the reasonable ones, just throwing it on the back of a pickup and heading up the trail.
Right, and then I slept in the EXD, which was sort of middle of the road. It still had what the higher level premium one had, but a little bit less, but a little bit more than the mod camper.
Okay.
So for getting off the grid and enjoying nature.
Yeah. Now, what you didn't see on TV, I will tell you, is that the bugs were really bad. And my videographer and I came back with upwards of 20 plus bug bites.
Ugh.
That's
So,
never fun.
So nature was not kind to you.
it was just,
Nature was
they were
fighting back.
biting.
Yes.
They were biting, yeah, because we were really out, in the middle of nowhere.
They were trying to herd you back to those campgrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Go back with everybody
Back
else.
of your own kind.
So,
It sounds cool. I haven't actually seen that one, but I'm very interested in it.
yeah, it was tons of fun shooting, really fun going out there. And we also had 2 dogs with us. So,
that'll
yeah,
Dogs
that
make
was
everything
nice.
better.
Yeah, we did kayaking, we grilled out. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Some of the food I saw you had was like really
It looked
exquisite
great,
looking.
Oh yeah, Earth Cruiser was just so amazing. Actually, the founder's wife cooked all that food for us. She was
that's
so
awesome.
gracious. She brought it all and cooked it. It was delicious. Yeah.
Very good. Appreciate the story. Appreciate the insight. Let's move on to our lightning round. Porsche is the latest automaker to offer something that no one is asking for. For just $8,100, Porsche will put your fingerprint on the hood of your 911. That's right. They'll scan your finger and a very expensive robot will paint it onto the car. How cool or uncool is that? Who wants to go first?
Oh, I can just imagine owners bragging about this in, some parking lot with the rest of their Porsche friends, and I don't get it. I don't get it
It's
at all.
bragging rights.
Yeah, it's complete bragging
It's that
rights.
wow factor. Yeah.
I thought it was an April Fool's joke before April. I have a hard time getting on board with this one, but it is classic Porsche. Let's charge somebody $8,000 to put a decal. It's not a decal. It's like a very expensive painting process where they end up like clear coating over top of it. But it's just like, I'm sure somebody will pay the $8,000 to do it. But you also got to give up your fingerprint, which they claim they're going to be very careful with and not give out. It's just like, whose idea was I want my thumbprint on the hood of my 911?
What round table meeting did this come out of?
The only thing that surprises me about it is that it only cost $8,100.
Right?
You think they would have
so
found
affordable?
But I don't know. I can think of a lot of other things that I would rather get put on the hood of my 911.
Yeah.
I can think of a lot of the things I'd spend $8,000 on.
People do a lot of funny things with cars and trucks, though. So, I mean, I guess is it really any weirder than people putting like certain anatomical parts of bulls on their trucks?
And I mean, you use your fingerprint now to open your phone and do so much. So maybe that was the whole idea
it's like
behind
it's already
it.
out there.
Yeah, it's like a big thing now.
Could you imagine a murder being solved by them comparing it to the hood of the assailant's 911?
Wow.
Like, I knew it was going to come back to bite me.
It's going to show up in Law and Order.
Yeah.
So, for sure. As for our viewer question, we have one from Freddie. How come some of your reviews don't include your traditional performance and handling tests? Why is that, road test producer Kyle Scanlon?
Oh, boy. I mean, some of it is when we have our quick spins. Mm-hmm. So our quick spin reviews, we don't go as in-depth. We don't bring them to the track. Don't get numbers on it, anything like that. And that's because those vehicles usually don't have as much that's new. There'll just be like a mid-cycle refresh or something like that, so we don't have to dive as deep into the vehicle because chances are we already did have a full test on it, and you could go on our website and probably go back into YouTube or something and find the full test where it would have those numbers and stuff. Sometimes it happens just because of the weather. We have these cars for a short period of time, some of them only for 4 or 5 days, most of them for around 2 weeks. But when we get backed up and we have 5, 6, 7 cars here that we have to test and get the footage on and all of that, and we get 3 or 4 days of rain, it sometimes means that these cars can't go to the track.
Yeah, we're snow as well. The track's been under snow for weeks at a time before as well. So
Yeah, and then the other one is what you're about to go do is sometimes we do our road tests in California and Texas and wherever we are, and we can't safely do the performance test.
Yeah, we don't have a track to go to. I'm about to be in California for a Porsche Speedster, and there's no tracks that we can go to and just throw it down and have 90 minutes, 2 hours to ourselves to do everything that we have to do. So that's another reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as simple as just getting a 0 to 60 number and telling it to you. I mean, we actually shoot the thing.
Yeah, we shoot the thing. We have to do multiple runs.
For sure,
yeah. With the quarter mile tests, we got to run the quarter mile, 8, 10, 12 times in order for our camera guys to get what they need. And then we got to do it again for the drones and for the GoPros and the braking tests and the slalom tests, which again, we sometimes have to do 8, 10 times in order to get everything we need.
Or what, maybe 20, 30 seconds of their time?
It depends on the car.
Yeah.
A minute. Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, usually the track will run, anywhere between 45 seconds and a minute in the segment.
And that's just gigabytes of footage.
Yes.
Bottom line, Freddie, we make every attempt. When we have the car here, when we're doing a test, we make every attempt to get up there, but it doesn't always happen. And if we're on location, then we're just not able to do it. So. Hope that helps. Thanks for tuning in. And anybody have a rant or a rave before we get out of here?
No, I don't.
We got nothing?
I don't think we have anything.
All right. Looks like everything's sunny in Owings Mills today.
Yes, and windy.
Well, thanks for tuning in. I'd like to thank our audio engineer, Jim Bigwood, our podcast producer, Greg Carlos, podcast creator, Bob Mixter. Be sure to check us out on all the usual channels and places. Track us out on the internet, all the MotorWeek.org and all the Facegram and Insta whatevers.
The tweeters.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Snapchat.
What was it?
Do we have a Snapchat?
We got MySpace? Is that what? All right. Thanks for watching MotorWeek.
You've been listening to the podcast of MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine. MotorWeek is made possible by TireRack.com and RockAuto.com. For additional information on podcasts, videos, and showtimes, visit our website at motorweek.org. And watch MotorWeek, television's longest-running automotive magazine series each week on your local PBS station.